First question, everyone's question, the common question for everyone in this series of interviews is, what is your definition of smart manufacturing, and how would you define the smart manufacturing mindset?
That's a good question, because I feel like smart manufacturing has so much to do with the mindset with which you approach any problem in the manufacturing space. So it's just as much the technology, the solutions, as it is the education and the thought process around how to get started. So the key component, though, is making sure that the right data is moving to the right people, the right stakeholders, so that they can actually solve problems. That's what I see as the key enabler for a successful smart manufacturing application.
Data's been a common answer, but that's one of the more people-centric answers around data that we've gotten in these interviews. You know, I feel like a topic that doesn't get talked about enough in smart manufacturing is reusability of architectures, as an example. We haven't really gotten into that yet. What advice do you have for manufacturing leaders so that they don't reinvent the wheel where they don't have to?
Right. The fundamental component of a reusable architecture is information models and open, standards-driven APIs and technologies. Okay. So anything that is open is reusable. An API means that multiple applications can be built against the same application. A common information model means that your data has context early and you have access to it with the right meaning. And so, for example, on a PLC program, there's going to be tags that are named in a variety of ways. The person who wrote the PLC program is going to have intimate knowledge of that data. But that's not repeatable without an information model that can be applied and proliferated across the smart manufacturing architecture.
So quick recap then, common information models and open APIs. That's how you get the reusability of architectures. Standards driven.
Yeah.
All right. So when is the right time for an executive that has a transformational vision to start looking at technologies and architectures, et cetera, like the ones we're discussing? Like, how do you avoid putting the cart before the horse? Since we really talk about how, what's the right word for it? Like your earlier answer where data's got to be going to people, right? We got to be focused on people and processes, and technology seems to come last a lot of times. So I'm just trying to figure out the right order.
Right. I think having that vision and being willing to take on this problem is fundamental. So great first step is I recognize that I need a transformation. I have the beginnings of a vision, don't know how to execute it. How do I execute it? So that, I would say, is part of the smart manufacturing mindset, right? We know that we need to change something. The next set of steps can feel overwhelming. Wherever possible, I think that you should leverage your institutes like CESMII to put you in contact with the right people, get you on the right path. The next step is thinking about where there's opportunity for incremental changes. Most environments, most plants that exist in manufacturing are brownfield. We don't have a lot of greenfield, and in many ways a brownfield application is one of the easier places to start because there are some set constraints and known problems that are trying to be addressed. That next step is get in contact with the right people and look for what I mentioned before around reusability and open standards. Start leveraging things that you know you're going to be able to reuse.
So have the vision, leverage institutes, because the next steps can be overwhelming, like we're talking about. Look for incremental changes, largely within brownfield spots, and then again, tap into the right people so that you have that reusability so you're not reinventing the wheel. So last question then is, now that you've been with CESMII for a while, what's been the most optimistic outcome for how CESMII is changing the industry?
I have been really encouraged to see the level of collaboration happening between manufacturers, internally between manufacturers and technology providers, between and technology providers too. Companies that would otherwise be competitors coming together to solve some of these common problems. I think that through that collaboration, there's been this recognition that if we want to elevate the industry, if we want to achieve smart manufacturing, we need to work together to make that happen. And that is how technology gets developed. I mean, in the computer science and software space, open source has been fundamental for a really long time. And we're also starting to see that in manufacturing as well. So collaboration isn't just putting the right people in the right room, which it absolutely is. It's also connecting people to the code, the solutions, the technology that they need to accelerate their solutions.
With all the information and sometimes noise that's out there around smart manufacturing, I really like how you've broken it down into some very easy steps on how to get started, where you're seeing success with CESMII. Thank you for making that so digestible for us. Olivia, really appreciate you having you on Manufacturing Happy Hour. Thanks so much.
Having me.
Cheers.
Cheers.